Hey, what is up YouTube, and welcome back to episode 11 of the Let's Play Factorio series. I believe today's episode might be the last episode on this series actually, because looking at the base, there's actually not much left to do. First of all, as you can see, between the episode I went ahead and added this row to the mega base, which contains 2 additional nuclear reactors. I've also added a plastic tile right here, and we were having some issues with the steel production, so I've added a steel smelter here and there. So we should now be done when it comes to the functionality of the base. And looking at the production statistics, let's see. In the last hour, we've actually been consuming at a constant rate the 1000 science pack per minute. And if I go now on the 10-hour mark, you can see that we were actually fluctuating here because of all the issues that we were having, including here we had the steel issue, but now we've been consuming at a constant rate. So I need to continue monitoring this. But other than that, the base is currently running at 100% capacity and it's working smoothly, which is really nice. Now, what is left to do on this world? Well, looking at it, there's actually 3 main tiles that are missing from this base. First of all, we need a tile capable of producing the rocket fuel for the trains and the nuclear fuel cells for the nuclear reactor. So that the first tile would be a nuclear production tile. Then we also need a tile to produce all the components necessary to maintain the base. So that would be like a make everything or a mole tile, which I'll be adding here in the middle. That's what I left this spot for. And then finally, if I can't fit that into the make everything, I'll have a dedicated tile for producing landfill and concrete, so we can actually landfill the base. We can actually put concrete tiles over the base to make it look a bit better. And so that's the 3 tiles that are missing from the base, and then the final step would be polishing things up and cleaning up the base. So we need to remove this old base and finish this segment of the wall, and there's a lot of small details, things that need to be cleaned up. But other than that, the base, once this is done, the base will then be completely 100% finished. So in today's episode, the first thing I'd like to do is start working on the nuclear production tile. So without further ado, let's hop into a creative test world and see what I can come up with. Alright guys, so there it is. It was actually quite easy to set up. I basically took the existing setup that I have on the main world and just implemented into a tile. Now let me go ahead and build this on the main world, and then I can show you and explain how it works. Okay guys, so as you can see, the tile is now set up and it's working. And what I also did is I went back to the old site and I brought back all the unprocessed uranium to supply this to start the process, right? And I also had to put some 235 uranium in these machines so that the CoverX process can begin, right? So this is now producing some nuclear fuel and some nuclear reactor rods for the reactors. And so what I want to do, also what I noticed, no, this is set up properly. So these train stops are not currently set up, and the reason for that is that I want to actually try something. So these trains that we have here are set up to go to the base uranium cell, and that is still the old train stop over here, right? And there is actually currently there's 4 of those trains, and I don't want to have to go around and manually reconfigure them. So let's try to see if we can actually make this switch automatically, because if that works, that means that all these refueling trains that are also set up to go back to base will also automatically be rerouted to these train stops over here, and I don't have to actually go around the base and manually reconfigure every train, because there's just a ton of trains on the map. So let's see if we can actually do this. So I believe if I copy this train stop to this here, right? So it's set up with a max of 2 trains, which is good for now. If I now go ahead and rename, where is it? If I actually disable this station, so if I remove it, my trains should now be rerouted to this stations, right? So let's try this train. And actually, where is he going? Oh, that was the wrong stop. Crap. Abort. I actually need to copy this station over to here. Okay, and remove that station. Move this station and see where's the train going now. He already left. And he's heading to base. So let's cancel, have him come back. Okay, now the train will be coming to this new tile. So let's wait for him to arrive. Okay, and the train has now arrived, and he's getting refueled. So let me pause this guy for a minute. And so what I think I can now do is rename this station. So let's first of all give him the right color and rename the station. Like so. And now if I check the train again, so this has properly updated. And if I go around and look at the other train stops, alright, so they've all properly updated, which means that I don't have to go around and manually reconfigure all those trains, which is pretty important because I didn't want to have to do the same for the fuel trains. So what I can actually do now, this train I can put back to automatic mode, and now we can go up here, and here I'm using bots to transfer the fuels into those chests because there wasn't enough space to put belts. And yeah, it's just a small network, it's not connected to anything else, so the bots are only transferring the item from these chests into those chests. So let's do the same thing over here. So I'll go back up here, copy this train stop to one of these base fuel. I can now remove the old stop, and now I can actually rename this to this, and I can now copy all those stations over. And if I have a look now on my map, all those trains should be properly reconfigured, and they all be coming here to refuel on rocket fuel, nuclear fuel. Let's see. Alright, and as you can see, it is working as intended, which is good. So that means that this whole tile is now finished, and now that's one more tile done. So I can now go ahead and start working on the make everything tile. Alright guys, we are back here at the purple science tile because I believe I have identified another issue that I didn't notice before, and that is that we are not actually producing 1,000 production science pack a minute. We're actually just below, and looking at the setup, it seems that we are low on these guys, the electric furnaces are not producing fast enough, and I think that it's because we are not bringing enough steel into the system. So let's see. It looks like we are not unloading steel quick enough, so I need to change this up so that we can unload the steel faster onto the belts and feed them quicker into the base. So let me fix this quickly. Alright guys, so I've doubled the amount of inserters that I'm outputting from the train into the belt, and I've also added more belt balancers over here and over here, and we are now actually able to keep up with the demand. If I have a look here every minute, we are now at a constant 1000 purple science pack every minute. But I'll keep an eye out for this and continue to monitor and see if it's actually stable. But in the meantime, I can actually go back to working on my make everything tile. Alright guys, and this is the make everything tile completely done. So like as you can see, it's right there in the middle of the base. And now this is the same, pretty much the same design that we used in season 2, so I'm not really gonna go over much detail about how it works. Essentially we'll bring the resource trains here on the left side in, and then we're using bots to build whatever components we need. Now I don't know if you guys remember how I said I didn't want to bring water trains into the base. Well, turns out that I totally forgot that this make everything actually requires water, so I did have to set up a train for this. Now this is pretty simple, right? This train comes down here, and he simply parks adjacent to this tile, and then this fills up like in 2 seconds. The train is full and can come back, and we don't actually need a lot of water for these recipes. It's only here for the explosives that we need this. And yeah, so we have a water train here now. And oh boy, I wish there was a simple way, an easier way to set up trains, because every time I have to set up trains I'm kind of shaking my head. This is 14 different trains, and it took me more than 20 minutes to set them up, because this, you have to place down the locomotives, then the wagons, then you have to filter the wagons, then you have to set up the train schedule, and then you have to copy and paste to have, like, there's 2 trains here with some trains in the stackers here, and then you have to do this over for every train. So this took a while to set up, but there it is, it's now done, and it's now working. So I rerouted all my trains to all the trains that we had on tiles. Like this train, for example, here is now going to the ME. Right here, instead of going to the old base. And I also set up these trains here, down here, and they are set up to go to specific tiles. Now what I did is I set up a filter inserter right here, so we could actually put an icon on it, and this actually indicates where this train is going. So this guy is going to the tile right above, right here, where we are sending the rockets. And then this guy is going to the power plants, and then so on. As you can see, everyone has small icons, and there is some onset trains down here which I'm not using at the moment. And also, you couldn't see it in time lapse, I added this after. This is for the resupply trains for the walls and the outposts. They are coming here and grabbing mainly repair packs that are being brought to the outpost. And so this is the current state of the map. I also took the opportunity to make a few changes here and there and fix some issues, add more tiles, and also set up additional outposts. So it took me quite a while, but I'll let you see if you can actually spot the difference on the map from this view, and let me know. Alright, so now we are only missing one tile, and that is the tile to produce the landfill and concrete, which I'll be placing over this water source right here in this corner. So let's go ahead and design it in creative mode. Alright guys, and here is my concrete production tile. So we were actually producing the 4 different types of concrete, which are the normal concrete and the colored version, and then the refined concrete and the colored version of that. So these 4 are being produced here, as well as the landfill down below. And what I'm doing is I'm placing the concrete into a train, and the particularity of this train is that all 4 locomotives are facing the same way, and that is because this wagon here, the first wagon, is contains the colored concrete, and in order for this to work, if I let the train go back the way it came, so if this was faced the other way and the train left this way, then what would happen is the next time the train came, it would be flipped over. So this wagon would be at the back, and this would be the first wagon, and then the train can't load properly. So I have to make sure that this train stays in the same direction, and that's why these are faced this way. Then I have a stacker here, so I can, have a backlog of concrete whenever I need it. Now I told you guys that I wanted to pave over the entire base with concrete, right? And there's a slight issue with that, and that is that this factory, running currently at full speed, is producing about 2,000 refined concrete a minute, and that's quite a decent amount, to be fair. However, I went ahead and made the blueprint of this entire tile, which I have right here, and to pave the entire tile, I need about 30,000 concrete. Now 30,000 divided by 2,000, that's about 15, which means that it would take 15 minutes to produce the concrete required for one single tile. And in my current base I have 6 by 7 tile, which is 42 tiles. And if you add up, if we multiply 42 by 15, that results in about 10 hours. So it means that I would have to wait about 10 hours to get the resources required to pave over the entire base, and then I still have to go around and pave the whole thing. And now I could go ahead and build more factories, more of those factories, just to produce the concrete required to pave the whole base. But since it's only a decorative step, I think I'm gonna skip it, and I hope you guys don't mind me doing so, because it's just gonna take too long to do that, and I just want to move on with this base so I can start working on my next series. So the next step is now to finish the wall, and then clean up, remove this old base. So let's first of all finish the wall. Alright guys, as you can see, the wall is complete. It actually was very simple to finish it up. I also added the wall down here, even though it's not really serving any purpose. But yeah, this is it. Now the final step. So let's clean up this old base that we don't use anymore. And to do so, there are several ways you can go about it. I usually pick the easy route, and here it is. So let me introduce you to the atomic bomb. Okay, so this is going to lag out the game like really bad, but here we go. Oh, I'm down to 16 FPS. There is no better way to clean this up. Let's go! Perfect. Now that was quick. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this episode, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this series, and I'll see you soon for another season.